Hi there everybody and welcome to this week's live stream GuitarQuest lesson. So first of all, apologies about last week. I came down with a bit of a bug, so I just wasn't really in a fit state to take the lesson. But I'm back this week, all's well, and so we're going to continue where we left off from the other week. So this is, I think, week 77, lesson 12 or 13, I can't remember. So yeah, we're just carrying on, continuation of what we did the last time. So before we get started, let's just cover a couple of things off. So if you're watching this on a device that has emails or social media notifications pinging away, then please do turn them off so you can have your undivided attention on guitar playing. And if there's any children watching, then I would suggest have an adult in the room just to help explain bits and pieces as we go through. And that's pretty much it. Oh, apart from the chat function. So the chat function's there. If you've got any questions, please do fire away. You do need to be a subscriber to actually send a message. So yeah, but if you've got a question, please do ask, and I will answer them as we go, or possibly save them up to the end. But yeah, let's start then by checking our tuning. So we're going to do it by ear again. So this is our 6th string. We work on the assumption that the 6th string is in tune. Okay, so that's correct. So to get the note A, we're going to play at the 5th fret on that string. So 6th string 5th, that's the note A. So our open 5th string should sound the same. So if it doesn't, adjust your open 5th string, your A string, until it sounds the same as the 6th string 5th fret. Then when you're happy with that, you play the 5th string 5th fret. That's the note D. We know the note D is in tune. So so that is the correct note. So then you compare your open 4th to it and you adjust the open 4th until it sounds the same. Then when you're happy with that, you go to the 4th string 5th fret, play that, that's the note G, and adjust your 3rd string until it sounds the same as the 4th string 5th fret. Then when you've got that down, you're going to go to the 3rd string 4th fret. That's the correct note. You compare your open 2nd string to that and adjust the 2nd string until it sounds the same. And then we go to the 2nd string 5th fret and play that note, and then compare your 1st string to it, and if it needs to be adjusted, then you just adjust the 1st string until it sounds the same. And then once you're fairly confident you got that correct, we then just strum a few chords and we listen out and try and make sure that it all sounds like it's in tune. So let's start off with the G chords. Just have a strum, try and listen to the notes, just think, is there anything that's a bit off? And just go back and adjust it a little bit if you need to. Let's also try D chords. So again, just checking out, listening if there's anything there. Perhaps a C. And then we'll finish on an E minor. Just they'd be the things to watch out for. If in doubt, if you've got a digital tuner, just check it with that. But what we want to try and do is develop a little bit of the ear as well, so that we're not totally reliant on guitar tuners. So one other thing, just a quick reminder before we get started, is just try not to let that guitar slide away from you. Try and keep it as upright as you can. It will make your guitar playing easier in the long term, even if it feels more difficult in the short term. So just going to move back ever so slightly there. Okay, so let's have a go at a warm up. So what I was thinking we would do today is similar to what we've done in previous weeks, but we're going to work on every string today. So just nice and slow. We're going to start on the 6th string, and we'll go open string, and 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. We're going to play it as quavers. Crotchets. So 1 beat per note, quarter notes if you prefer. Then we do the same on the 5th string, then the 4th, and then the 3rd, and then the 2nd, and then the 1st. So we do it all as crotchets. Then we're going to stop. I'll count us in again. We'll do them all as quavers, so twice the speed, and then we do them as semiquavers, so twice as fast again. So hopefully that makes sense. So it will just be, if I demonstrate, crotchets going to be like this. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. that kind of thing. Then we move to the next string, and we'll keep going. Then when we get to quavers, we'll go 1 and 2 and 3 and we just do, you know, just on one, you know, one pattern on each string. And then when we get to semiquavers, same kind of thing, but just faster again. So. So that's our idea, that's our challenge. Like I say, once we've finished, we're going to end up there. So we're going to take, we'll just stop and then we'll reset ourselves and then we'll go again. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's give it a go. So crotchets to begin with, quarter notes if you prefer. So after 4, here we go. Okay, so 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, and then 1st string, and then we stop at the 3rd fret. Okay, so hopefully that's all okay. So let's try it again. This time we're going to go twice the speed. Okay, so 3 and 4 and so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then 4th string, 3rd, 2nd and 1st. Okay. So that's that. Now we're going to try semiquavers, 16th notes if you prefer. Okay, so this might feel a bit fast, but see how you go. You know, it's always something you can practice and that. So here we go. So after 4, so 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that's just another idea for a warm-up really, using the same kind of chromatics as what we've been discussing in previous weeks. Again, very good for coordination and that kind of thing. If you notice any strings where you feel like you're not quite as comfortable, for example, like you're probably more comfortable on the first few strings, and maybe these ones, maybe not quite so much. So if you notice that, just try and spend a little bit more time on those, and that technique will develop. What I would suggest in terms of the right hand is if you think about what your fingers are doing on the first string and the 2nd string, you want it to be the same on the others. So it might mean that your whole arm moves a little bit, kind of to exaggerate it, but a bit like that. So don't feel like you've got to kind of just bunch the fingers up or anything. It's like actually you just want to allow a little bit of movement there. And that should hopefully allow the technique to stay more consistent, and hopefully everything will sort of flow then. So okay, so that's that. Let's crack on with the other stuff that we've been playing then. So we're going to dive straight into exercise 10 today, which is Sunken Blues. So this particular one, obviously we've played it over the last couple of weeks, so I'm not going to go over it in too much detail. We'll play it with the repeat. We'll take it fairly slow. There's a fair amount of content in there to be thinking about. So we want to be watching out for, well, first of all, it's in 6/8, so 6 quavers per bar. All our F's and C's are played sharp, so we want to watch out for those. There's quite a few hammer-ons and pull-offs as well. So yeah, we just got to kind of see how we go with it, really. So let's try it. So after 6, with the repeat. Okay, here we go. So 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Second line. So hopefully that all went okay, or better than okay. Hopefully it went really, really well. So give yourself a pat on the back if it did. If you've got any questions about it, obviously do fire away in the chat function. But we have played that one over the last couple of weeks, so hopefully one you're reasonably okay with. So we're going to move on now to the next one, number 11. So we talked a little bit about this the other week, and there was a couple of little variations I wanted to just show you so you can kind of bring your blues playing to life a little bit more. So, but before we get stuck into it, let's just double check that B7 chord, make sure you're okay with it. So I'm going to put the middle finger to the 5th string at the 2nd fret, first finger 4th string 1st fret, third finger 3rd string 2nd fret, and your pinky finger to the 1st string at the 2nd fret, and you strum from the 5th string. So you should hopefully get that sound out. Try and avoid the 6th string if you can, because that note's not within the chord, so we don't want to have that one going. I think usually most of the notes come out clear enough for people. If any are a bit scuffed, it's usually one of two things, which is either these fingers are sort of slanting down a little bit and you get that kind of sound, so get them up on the fingertips, and the other one would be perhaps not quite enough pressure. So just try and make sure you're putting enough pressure in. And the question of how much pressure do you put through the fingers in order to get the notes out is a really difficult one to answer. Well, it's an easy answer. The answer is you put just enough pressure in. So that's a very straightforward answer, and it isn't enormously helpful, to be perfectly honest. It's going to be a case of you playing about with it. If you feel you're putting loads of pressure in and you're feeling tired from it, you know, fingers are hurting and stuff, and just try backing off a little bit on the pressure front, and just see if, you know, if the notes go a bit scuffed or muted and, you know, they're not very clear, then you probably need to put a bit more pressure on. So it's just trying to find that sweet spot, really. But yeah, let's dive into number 11. So we'll play it as written, and then we'll talk about these variations that you can introduce into a more generic kind of bluesy pattern, rather than necessarily this one. So how it starts off, we're going to be in the 2nd position, so we're going to put our first finger on the B, 5th string 2nd, and we're going to play the E and the B at the same time. You can either do the thumb and the index finger, or strum, and I would suggest strum with the thumb, and it will give you a more just a more traditional kind of sound. Like that kind of thing's okay, and in certain situations that might be exactly what you want, but usually that's sort of more, I don't know how you describe it, but it just kind of, everything rings into each other, it just sounds great. So that's probably the way I would suggest to go for it. So we're here, we play that one twice, and then we go up to the 4th fret for our C sharp, and then back again. And effectively we're just going to be rotating between these two notes, or changing between them. So we go 2nd fret, 4th, 2nd fret again, 4th fret, 2nd, 4th, 2nd, 4th, and that's our first 4 bars. And then for bars 5 and 6 we just do the same thing, but we move our finger to the 4th string 2nd for the E, and we strum the 5th and the 4th strings. So you've got the A and the E, and then you go up to the 4th fret for an A and an F sharp. And if you can, try and hold your first finger down. So as you're playing, even when you put this 3rd finger down for the 4th fret, keep that first one down so that when you lift off again, it's already in the right place, and you're not having to think like, I've got to move it back again. So again, it's just good technique if we can do that. So that's bars 5 and 6, and 7 and 8 are same as the first ones again. And then we come into our B7 chord. We don't need to worry about the pinky finger, but you can include it if you want to. And all we're doing is strings 5 and 4, and then strings 3 and 2 together a couple of times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then bar 10, we've got open A, E, 4th string 2nd, and an open G. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then bar 11. So we just do the sort of first half of the first bar really. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then bar 12, back to that B7 shape. So kind of the same as bar 9, the one directly above it, just we only play the A and the B at the same time once. So I'll just play the last 4 bars just to give you a reminder of how that's going to sound. So we go 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we go back and repeat it, and then as we come on to the last line, bar 13 is the same as bar 11. When we get to bar 14, we're just going to make that B7 chord and strum. We're not going to include the first string, so you just stop on the second string. So with your right hand thumb, what you can do is sort of aim to just finish resting on that first string, and that way hopefully obviously you won't include that one. Even if you do, it's not the end of the world, or if you're not confident doing that, add the pinky down to make it the full B7 shape, and include the first string, that's fine as well. And then we finish off on an E chord. So let's try it together the whole way through, including the repeats. Yeah, sorry, just checking to see if there's any questions, but there doesn't seem to be so far. So let's go for it. Again, we'll just take it nice and slow, see how you go, and then we'll talk about those couple of variations after this. Okay, so here we go. So 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then to the A bit, so A and E. Back to E. To our B7 shape. To the first bar for half, B7, back to beginning, move over a string, and then back again. To our B7, to the A, E, G, second time bar, B7 chord, and then we finish on an E. Okay, cool. So hopefully that went well. Again, give yourself a pat on the back if it did. That is a sort of a fairly typical blues. There's another time signature that would make it possibly more traditional, and that would be to make it 12/8 rather than 6/8, which effectively just means every bar is twice as long. So rather than say our first 2 bars written here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What we would do is double everything. Okay, so we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you'd have to play 4 bars like that. So the reason I'm saying that is firstly to make you aware of it, but also what we can then do is add an extra note in at the 5th fret. So we would go 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, and back to the 4th, and that would make up 1 bar. So just to demonstrate, you go 4, 5, 4. So it's the frets, 2, 5. Sorry, I said the wrong one there. So it's fret 2, 4, 5, 4, 2, 4, 5, 4. And then again, we do the same on the A. You can just go up to the 5th fret. variation. And then you do the same again, obviously, on the E. When we get to the B, for now, you just play the same thing twice. If you wanted to continue the same kind of pattern, you can try this. This is a lot more difficult, so we're not going to dwell on it too much. But you would go 5th string 2nd, 4th string 4th, and then reach up to the 6th fret. Or you could even try reaching up to the 7th fret. Just kind of putting you in the picture that that's something you could do, but for the B at this stage I probably wouldn't recommend it. I would just stick to kind of something like this, double it, and then on the other chords you can drop into that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then back round. And if you wanted to, you could do little variations within that, so like as you sort of end up back on that one on beat 1, then you should be fine with it really. So another little variation, going back to what's written here in exercise 11, is we could go, rather than going fret 2, 2, 4, 4, you could go 2, 2, 4, 2. And that almost feels like you're sort of, well no, it's not quite right. I was going to say chord push, but that's not really the same thing. So yeah, it just creates a different kind of momentum to it. So you've got this kind of, so that's a nice little variation. And then you can add the other variations. Anything like that is effectively, we've got 3 chords. We're doing something over the E, something over the A, and then the B7 is that. So that's another little variation. And one final thing that you could also try is to change the rhythm, and this would give it more of a rock and roll kind of, I think like Chuck Berry kind of style. Rather than having that sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can just think of it as like 1 and 2 and, so like 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So really all I've done is change the rhythm to make it a straighter kind of rhythm, and that's pretty much it really, and increase the speed. So again, something else you could try and have a play about with. Obviously, in terms of playing along with the backing tracks that we've got for these particular songs, that one's not going to work because it's a completely different rhythm. But like I said, it's just something to have fun with and play about with and see how you go. So, okay, so those are the blues variations. So let's turn the page. We'll have a go at exercise 12 now. So this is your basically the just the standard blues progression really, and we're going to actually strum the chords this time. So just seeing a comment there, struggling with the B chord variation, not sure about the strings there. Okay, so the B chord, the variation is there's only one we talked about, but really the main thing is to get to that B7 shape. Maybe without the pinky finger, that's your choice, but you go 5th string, 4th string, and then 3rd and 2nd strings. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, and then that'd be beat 4 where you play those 2 together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you double it up to make it 12/8, you just play the same thing twice, but start on beat 7 in the second half of the bar. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's that. Or if you wanted to try the more difficult one, you'd go first finger to the 5th string second, probably middle finger to the 4th string fourth. You could go third. Personally, I'd go middle, but you know, there's not necessarily a right or wrong there. And you play those two, and then you reach the pinky finger up to the 6th fret. And you do the same kind of pattern as on the other chords. So we would go, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So hopefully that's cleared that up a little bit, but do let me know if it hasn't. But yeah, what I'd like to do is just have a look at the chords to number 12 just before we run out of time. So basically we have an E chord, 4 bars of E, then we're going to change to A, 2 bars of A, back to E for 2 bars, and then the last 4 bars, this is where it's a bit more difficult. We've got 1 bar of B7, sorry, 1 bar of A, 1 bar of E, and 1 bar of B7 again. And then we repeat, and eventually we finish on an E chord. So that's what we're going to do. And our strumming pattern, what we're going to aim to do is play the bass note on beat 1. So it's 1, 2, then we go an up strum on 3, down on 4, and up on 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we do that pattern throughout. So it's just a case of changing chords. When we get to the A, that root note that we're going to play is the 5th string, because that's the lowest note of the A chord that we want to hear. So obviously when we're playing an A, we want A to be the lowest note. So A on the 5th string is the lowest note, or the lowest A we can get on the guitar, hence playing that one. And same on the B7. So when we get to the B7, our lowest note is on the 5th string at the 2nd fret. So again, we play that as the root note. And then we're into the strumming pattern, which I think I just played it different one there. But yeah, so it'd be that bass note and then up, down, up. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Let's give it a go, and then I'll put the track on. You can have a listen to it and see what you think. So, okay, starting on the E, here we go, just nice and slow. We'll do the repeat as well. So after 6 even. Okay, so 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to A. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back to E. B7 to A to E and B7 again, back to the beginning to the E chord, stay on it for another 2 bars. Back to E, to B7, to A, to E, and B7 again, and then we're going to finish on a single strum on that E chord. Okay, cool. So that's that. We'll have a quick listen to the track in just a second. One thing I should just emphasise, I think we've talked about this when we've done a little bit of strumming before. Obviously, when we hit the bass note, that is what it is. We hit the bass note. When we do the strumming, the ups and the downs, don't feel like you need to hit all the strings all the time. You can do. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but you might find it sounds a little bit mechanical. So if you when you do the up strum, if you catch like the higher strings and then maybe more of the bassy strings on the down strums, that's one thing you could try. Or how I was playing it just then was because we've got the bass note going, when we do the up, down, up, we can focus a little bit more on the treble strings. So although in the book I've written it such that you strum strings 1 to 5 all the time on the E chord, for example, you actually don't need to. Just strings 1, 2, and 3, maybe 4 as well. It doesn't really matter as long as it sounds good to you. That's kind of the important thing. So, but yeah, so I was going thumb and then really strings 1, 2, 3, and then like that. And I would say I'm not strumming it such that I'm thinking I need to hit strings 1, 2, and 3 every time. I know that I'm just hitting them more often than not. It's those 3, but there was if I analysed it back and watched what I played, there's a good chance I'd have hit the 4th string sometimes. There's a good chance I probably only hit strings 1 and 2, maybe even only string 1. But the feel is there, and that's the more important and overriding thing when you're strumming chords. So let's have a listen to the song anyway. This is number 12. So it sounds similar obviously to the other 2 which were part of this sequence, but the chords are just going to be a little bit more prominent. So yeah, let me know what you think and we'll go from there. Ooh, wrong one. Okay, cool. So that's the tune. Apologies when I put the PDF up on the screen there. I forgot in a previous lesson I had a different chord sheet thing going on. So yes, a little glance into, a very brief glance into what could be expected at grade 4 if you ever decide to do grades and go down that route. So cool. Okay, that is a good place for us to finish up for today, I think. So things to practice then. We've covered in exercises 10, 11 and 12 the 3 kind of guitar parts that make up that trilogy of blues tunes. So I would recommend practicing all 3. If you have any means of recording them, it's always good to do that. You know, just on your phone, you could perhaps, when you're confident with the chords, record yourself playing the chords, then play the exercise 10 over the top. That's the main tune, or exercise 11 as well. And see how consistent, how steady you can get that. That's always a good thing to do. Recording yourself is very enlightening as to what's going right and what's not going quite as well as you might think. I've found in the past that you think you've got something down and it's fine, and then you record it and you're like, oh yeah, no, it's not quite as tidy as I'm hearing it when I'm practicing it. So always worth exploring. So yeah, let's focus on those 3. We'll do the warm-up, like that chromatic warm-up like we tried today. We'll do something similar next time as well. And then other than that, we'll be moving on and looking at a bit of swing feel and that kind of thing next time. So we'll leave it there for today. Hopefully everything I talked about made sense, and all those blues variations were things you can get stuck into and hopefully enjoy. Yeah, we'll pick things up again soon. So I say soon because it's Easter just around the corner, so I'm going to take a couple of weeks off. The next one's actually going to be the 16th of April. So that's 2 weeks off and then back on again as normal. And I'll pop a message up on the channel just so that you're aware that that's what's going on. So yeah, we'll leave it there. If you enjoyed the lesson, please do give it a thumbs up. Please share these GuitarQuest lessons around with anybody you think might benefit from learning and so on. And otherwise, have a wonderful Easter, everybody. Have a great weekend as well. And I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. Okay, take care then, and see you soon. All right, bye-bye.